Good day, it's your pal, Diego, coming to you from 2/14, February. It's Love Day, and I hope y'all are having a good day and there's love all around your life. We're gonna dive into it. You know what it is and why I brought you all here. You don't know this, but I brought you all here through going out into the streets and engaging with the community and getting advice, giving advice. That's what I'm about. And the goal was always to have a show where I create a long dialogue of what it means to be your friend Diego that's ready to give you advice. And it's something that's gonna expand beyond internet, which is crazy to think about because internet encompasses the world essentially. So we ourselves are gonna encompass the world as a community of advice. And I'm happy, no happier can I be than to be your friend and to be here on the internet giving this advice that is completely free. And we'll keep going. We're gonna grow. Eventually we will have guests on the show. It won't just be me. My top guest would honestly be, the guy that stood on business in the clip that really, sent a lot of my clips to the thousands of views, which I really appreciate. But you just let me know, who would you like to see advice with? Who would you need advice from? And how could we get him on this podcast that you would want to see? And, moving on past that is, I want to bring you guys current events from your friend. You see me, I'm out in the streets, I'm talking to people, current events in the world, there are all kinds of crazy things that are going on that a lot of people are afraid to talk about. But I'm not necessarily afraid to talk about them. I will say that, I'm here more for community and just trying to bring the people together and make people feel good. But moving on from that, I definitely, had inspiration from Dr. Phil, the Ellen DeGenereses, but I do want to say there is more of a target growing on the Jon Stewarts. I got to come for the top. I'm trying to be America's next top talk show host, and I don't take that lightly at all. I'm your pal, and I gotta go to the top with all of you here viewing me now. We're all going to the top with advice and sharing it to the community. And at the end of the show, besides sharing advice and taking it to the elite of the top of the business that is entertainment. I'll get it going. And taking it to them, at the top. I want to talk about the world, just like those people I was talking about. I want to bring the whole world into this community of advice so we could share and learn way more about people than your own experience could give you. We're all like horses with the blinders on trying to get shit going, but we gotta sometimes remember that you have advice in you and you have value to give people and you should share it. Currently I would like to bring in just current events, right? We want to talk about what's going on in the world. If I just picked up my phone and just looked at what's going on, world news. The Indonesian presidential election just happened. Subianto claims victory. That was 1 hour ago. And this is coming to you live from your friend Advice on 2/14. All right, well, anyways, this is the major world news. And why is Indonesia important? I would say Indonesia is very important to trade in the world. I believe they are water, they have a lot of docks and they probably got boats. And it's very important. Everyone pay attention to the Indonesian presidential candidate that just got elected. World news, right? Like, let's just say what's going on in my neighborhood. I go around and I see these yeses and nos, and it's about a school policy that's going on. And I really do want the community's advice on this. What would you do if you realize your neighborhood is so conflicted with these yeses and nos on their lawn, and it's about children's books that are a little sexually explicit in nature. I think this is definitely a polarizing issue that people would be afraid to talk about. But I'm not afraid to talk about it at all, because I'm your pal, Diego, and I will share advice on this. I would think if you don't want your kid to see sexual books, I would think it would be no. But it's actually, if you do, I forget how it works, but you need to figure it out. It's your pal advice. And I'm in the internet telling you that there is people that are divided with these yes or no's on their lawn, and it is about sexual books in child's libraries and children libraries, and it is weird, and I want your advice on it. I want everybody's advice. I really would like to just dial it down a little bit and just talk about how when things go a little awry and you want to go into a library to read a book and you're 6 or 8, I don't think you need any more confusion into your life. You're just trying to enjoy little kid things. And I would say that. So that's my side positive note. Other people, if you're so polarized by this, please share some advice on how to deal with this, because this is a big issue. I see these yeses and nos, and I just feel like, man, why can't the community get together and share their knowledge and how to deal with this, really, because some people don't know how to deal with it. I feel like I know how to deal with it. I'm just not going to read those books or read them to children. But that's just me. All right, anyways, what else is going on in the world news that is just big? I would say the Israel and Palestine. That's big news. People don't want to touch it. People don't want to pick a side. I won't want to pick a side either, because I don't even get what's going on. It's way over there, and not that it doesn't involve me politically. It does. We gotta get together and understand why people feel so strongly about these ways, and understand fully. I personally think Israel was like this, small little place that's not so strong, but they're very strong, and I would say Palestine's very strong. So we just don't want two strong people battling like that. And it's just crazy if you really think back. Like, my life has only been like 30 years. If you look at that whole Middle East section in my life, it's changed a whole lot. That map is just changing. If you double it, it's changing even more. So mostly I would say about war in general, advice does not promote war. He promotes sharing advice and knowledge. Both people should get together and share some sort of common ground and understanding of that they're right next to each other. And what if other people didn't like either of them that much and just kind of took them both out? I just think of sheer size and mass. That's crazy, and they should be together and united in such a small area. And I think about that as America, because we're the United States, even though we're a little separated by quite a bit of things. But we do get together and we talk about it, and that's the important thing, is to get together and talk about things and not to go over each other's head about it, and really understand each other. And that, I think, as Americans, even though we're trying to say we don't get it, I think we all get it. We all get where most people are coming from, left, right, up, or down. If you put yourself in the shoes, other people, that might be a mental illness, and that's a different thing. We all got to work on, though, as a community. And yeah, just moving forward from that, current events. That was real deep and heavy. And how do you get out of something so deep and heavy? And I would just say, talking about relationships, and this brings me really into the people. Shouts out, I believe. Let me not get the name wrong, but let me just read this. Drea, the LBC represented, messaged in, and wanted to hear about dating and relationship. At least with dating within the friend group. And my advice on that is simply, there's a lot of permission slips that need to be signed. There's a lot of, precaution. And honestly, if you're doing something like that, you gotta understand that the respect level, has to be, it must be not there or something, because, you know, one friend shouldn't do that to another in that sense, Drea. So I'm glad you reached out on that topic. Please share your guys' advice on dating in the friend group. You know, I think I've seen some chicks successfully pull it off, but it wasn't so much dating, it was more of just hooking up. And at the same time, like I'm saying, respect at that point for actually dating after that. It changes, you know, Drea. So just thank you for that. And, you know, just guys, be on the lookout. Your pal is live on the internet, ready to share, you know, spicy topics. You guys see me out asking people what they do if they run into their ex. You know, what's the first thing they think of when they think of their family? You know, what's the first thing they think of when they think of, you know, spring break? And then, you know, what's the first thing they think of when they think of sex or anal? You know, I'm out there, I ask these questions, and it's not for a price, it's for free, you know? So getting into, I guess, more behind the scenes and just comments. I really do enjoy scrolling through the comments sometimes. And we'll just, first podcast, we're going to go with the first clip that that brought us here to this moment. It is I would call it, at this point, it's called the Standing on Business clip. It's also the red flag alert clip. But this clip is it's just a classic clip. And I'm gonna play it just to refresh right now, and then we'll dive into a behind the scenes, what really happened. What is the toxic trait out there? Hey, what's a big red flag though?
A big red flag? That. See that? You funny. You hugging up and bye. Go him. Bye. Like, I'm not even doing this shit for the content. I'm being 100 for real. Hey, and I'm glad I'm making your shit go viral, because I'm gonna have it, like, on my daughter. Hey, rip that off me. Rip that bracelet off me. Hey, rip this bracelet off me. Rip this bracelet off. Rip it off.
I'll rip it off.
There you go.
All right, and that was the clip right there, guys. And if that doesn't hype you up to stand on business for yourself, I don't know what will. But this guy, right, when he's doing this, and he's even mentioned this ain't for no content, this ain't for that, you know, he saw something, and I was just trying to bring it up kind of naturally. And I personally, guys, I came out here for advice, wholesome advice. And when I went out and I realized that people don't really want to interact with wholesome advice, they want to see some crazy stuff. They want to get something that's polarizing. They want to get something that makes them feel a certain way. You know, and that's exactly what happened when I was going out. I was asking people, what's a red flag? What is something that you're like, I'm done dating this person. And that literally happened live right there in that video that you saw. You know, he's like, I'm not doing this for the content. I got this, I'm out. You ripped that bracelet off me. And I was like, yo, what the fuck's this bracelet got to do with this? But it was a very deep thing. If you look in the comments, the bracelet ripping off symbolizes so many things that are a very deep bond of connection to that night. And it was over once that bracelet was going to be ripped off. And I have you guys know, I wish I would have ripped the bracelet off. I think it would have been more zestier. But it's very like me to not be so into that spiciness of the moment, because I was very thrown aloof, thrown for a side bender. I was like, man, this can't happen. No, wow, and it did, and it was great, and it was juicy, and y'all ate it up. It was, I mean, it was what it was. It was a beautiful moment, and I commend the women that understand what happened. And they were like, nah, if that happened to me, nah. And then there's other women that are like, that's just a casual hug. I think y'all are looking past things, and you're subconsciously doing something or trying to hide something yourselves. But that is a good behind the scenes take on that clip. Definitely is the reason why we're here. And I feel more engaged with the community when people kind of like that stuff, but not so much that they like it, but that they understand what happened right there. It was very not provoked, and it was just a beautiful thing, you know. So winding down. All right, so another clip in behind the scenes that I believe deserves some time and discussion is what I'm calling T Prince. We'll keep that inside, but we know what it is. My good pal, Nico, really, this guy's a solid pal. We had some good enjoyment, but he has this clip where, first time we met, he just talks organically how he feels about losing weight for a significant other. And it was a beautiful moment, and a lot of women right now, I hope y'all all go check out that clip. A lot of women at this moment, especially in the time of February 14th, are all liking that picture, trying to figure out where he's at, because he said the most sweetheart thing you could think of to say, and he didn't even try to think of something sweetheart. He was just organically him, and that's what makes it special. It's not accommodate, but it's a word. I cheer for that guy because he's very good. Goddamn, accommodate is, I need to figure out what that word is. Everybody, what word am I trying to say that's not accommodate? Anyways, we'll move forward. And I really like that clip because it's a little more wholesome, and that's kind of was my vibe going out. So I really hope that clip overtakes the toxic breakup, standing on business clip, even though they're both very community, very advice, in the comments on both of them, some people will agree and disagree, and I like that. I like people not always so one-sided in agreement. We got to understand that different strokes for different folks, and if you're out there looking for love, there's someone out there for you, and you got to understand that, and you could find them possibly in the comments of Hear Advice. People don't know this, but in the comments of this advice, there is a love connection going on and a love language, and people share their knowledge, and when people love that knowledge and adopt it into their life, that's a symbol of love and appreciation for that person. I think that's the word right there, appreciation, not accommodation. Boom. And we're back, baby. So yeah, I think, let's just go through some of the clips, some of the comments of the more wholesome. Oh my goodness. That clip is at 248 comments, which is a lot more than I thought. Someone's straight up grandma, abuelita. We're gonna do a screenshot and we'll put it up there. But an abuelita, shouts out to her. She said a torta ... on that one. That one's funny. Dang, this other girl said keep it 100. She loved that one. This is all good ones. Another girl, perfect answer. That's awesome. That's good. That's what I like to hear. Oh damn, there's a little bit of sideways comments for sure, but there's another good one. He's a real one. A man who actually likes women. He said he don't give a damn if she's skinny or fat. Love it. And that's true. There's a lot of guys that if you're the right woman, you don't give a damn. But let's go and read the comments to the toxic breakup, because these comments will have us off the walls right now. All right. The top comment with 70 fucking K likes is hilarious on this toxic breakup one. Not gonna lie, I feel like bro was fed up with her shit, and this was his last straw. It was the straw that broke the camel's back, baby. He's done with that one. He's out. That shit was gold. That is a gold comment. And look at this one though. I don't know. This isn't like I'm saying. It's one of these girls that's kind of childish. She says, childish, good riddance, what a baby for real. She hugged a friend and acquaintance. That one only got 121 likes. Y'all tell me. I mean, she's wrong, clearly, right? Look at that video. No. I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. Your daughter was hugging somebody else. But classic stuff. He needs some advice. Of course, he got advice right on the spot. I was a little nervous, but I helped him out. Hey, let's just calm down and enjoy the night. He enjoyed his night, that's for sure. Yeah. And oh man, a comment. I mean, most people are commenting like, "Now, what happened after the video? What's the full video? Man, I sat there with my jaw agape for a couple seconds as a group of people kind of circled him and kind of hyped him up. They kind of did a little like, yeah, bro, like you really did send that shit. And they ripped off that bracelet right there. And honestly, I felt like they kind of reconciled or something. I think they might have walked off separately, but like they talked and then they just kind of walked off separately into the night. It was a good Long Beach night. You know, a lot of people were just, you know, typical LBC shit. You know, nothing new. You know, people breaking up on Pine all the time. And I'm gonna tell you, bro, like got hyped up by a group of dudes. You know, the dude ripped off that bandage. It was seriously a good time for men at that moment, standing on business for sure. I feel like, you know, they had a little bit of a chat right there, and I think they just walked off separately. But hey, man, if the dude's out there, you can find love in the comments for sure of that video. Everyone's looking for you. And for everyone, yeah, that's kind of what happened in the end of that. They just, you know, he stood on business, and that was what it's all about right there. Going out and just, you know, making sure you enjoy your night and not end it on a sorry ass note. And so, you know, another section that I really do want to leave this in the open air. So if you feel like it got left on a cliffhanger, I mean, I don't even need to tell you. I hope it gets left on a cliffhanger, but I really want to discuss something that's always fun to discuss. It's super fun to discuss it. It's fun to discuss conspiracy theory. Conspiracy theories, okay? So I want to discuss conspiracy theories with my community because a lot of people need advice on how to deal with it. There's conspiracy theories that send people into bunkers. There's probably conspiracy theory on the people that are in the bunker themselves. There's people that believe there's people in the bunker. And I would actually want to find people that are actually been in a bunker for a couple of years and really convince them to come out. It's okay. But these conspiracy theories that we discuss here are purely like comical and very, very in the air, like setting on a cloud. Like I'm not here to put things on concrete or anything for anybody. I'm not a investigator, journalist, but I am your pal on the internet, ready to give advice on conspiracy theories. When you're out there and you look in the sky and you see those chemtrails or whatever conspiracy theory that made the cloud, or you see, you know, maybe a fire going on in a place that shouldn't be on fire, you just let me know and we will discuss the conspiracy theory. We will discuss the conspiracy theory here on the show Advice from Diego, and we'll leave it open. You know, it's not to put anybody being wrong. You know, I just want it to be out there what the conspiracy theories are, because these theories are sometimes more logical than the actual story itself, which that's why it's kind of important to talk about. I think it is important to talk about just so everyone has an understanding how far out some other people's mind might be, even as far as how Earth could be flat. You know, that hey man, if something happens and the Earth happens to be flat, and do you want to ridicule that guy so harshly? I don't think so. You want to maybe just leave it in the air and let him, you know, deal with it on his own. But the conspiracy theory I would like us to discuss and continue this conversation into the next show is 9/11. And 9/11 is not a conspiracy theory that it happened. It for sure happened. People lost their lives on 9/11. The conspiracy theory is, how did these events happen? How did 9/11 become such a polarizing moment in America to have us talking about it still in 2024, right? 2024, we're talking about 9/11 conspiracy, just like Pearl Harbor for sure happened, and there's conspiracy theory on that, but we're not going to go into that right now. It's about 9/11. What happened? I really want to know. This 9/11 date it was definitely a moment, and I like to bring it into my childhood. It was a moment when I was a kid. I fully didn't understand. I saw what happened, but I literally was like, buildings, maybe they were empty. Maybe, there wasn't people in the planes. I hope for everything good, but when they told me the loss of life, I still only experienced like a handful of deaths. I can't imagine the amount of deaths that happened. And I know this is a light show, but death is life, okay? And light and life are together, and death is a part of it. And so we're here, and this was a polarizing moment in my childhood, for sure. I'm going to remember it forever, right? And I get into, about 2011, that's, at the end of my grade school or whatever they call it, regular schooling. Anyways, and you question things, and you're like, yo, I have a good idea of what 9/11 is. I know what 9/11 is. It was George Bush. He did these things. It was the government. And then you research it later, and then they're like, okay, the 9/11 conspiracy theory that people think, right? So 9/11 happened when I was a kid. I didn't really think about it for a couple of years because it was a while. So it's about high school time when I start thinking about these conspiracy theories, and it's exciting. And I'm like, oh man, I know what happened. 9/11. This is what they said happened, right? 9/11 was said that I believe Saudi Arabia college level students were able to hijack planes and drive them into these buildings that blew up. It was two of the buildings for sure. There was another building that fell, but they didn't. I don't know if they ever talked about what really happened, right? But now I'm in high school, and I'm just this cool kid that thinks he's very in with culture and knows a thing or two about conspiracy. And I'm like, no, George Bush planned 9/11, and they did it as a power grab, right? And they made us go into the war, right? And George Bush into the war with oil. That's the conspiracy theory at that point. And then you research it later, and then they're like, I think in about 2015, 2016, maybe even a little bit later, the conspiracy theory on 9/11 is that they had no control over it. It's exactly what happened. They just made it seem like George Bush was a part of it and a CIA op to make it seem like the government is so in control of itself that only itself could harm itself. And, I was like, all right, well, fuck it, that's conspiracy theory now, and I have to believe that. And most recently, guys, I tell you this, very recently, I researched this 9/11, and I inquired, and that's why I would like to leave this on a cliffhanger for everyone. Go and research 9/11 again, and you will find out the new conspiracy theory on 9/11 from this guy, Christopher Bolin. Christopher Bolin, I don't know how credible this man is, but I imagine he seemed pretty credible, guys. To your pal advice, I'm on the internet, now telling you this, and he's out there. He has these new theory, and I say theory because no, it's not like something that everyone believes universally. It's a controversial ideal that maybe this guy holds, and he feels he has a lot of facts to back it. But things that I found suspicious that they didn't talk about were in the beginning they caught, they try to label this new theory as anti-Semitism. And this is why your friend Diego is important, because he's not afraid to say things that might be said anti-Semite, and I'm definitely not that. It's your pal Diego, and I definitely talk to all people, and I wouldn't be like that. But anyways, the conspiracy theory, if you dive into it nowadays, is that Israel provoked us into a war against the Middle East and the other nations there to get us to back them up. And it's pretty mind-blowing. I'm freaking... How long have I known about 9/11? Well, it was 2001, 9/11, right? So that's it, guys. What do you guys think about that? I mean, if you look into this, Odigo, you look into all these things, What happened? Did 9/11 get provoked some other way? Why do we have so many conspiracy theories on 9/11? I'm your pal Diego. I'm gonna be here for advice. Whether you're here or not next week, we're gonna be talking about our discussion of 9/11. All right.